since 2005. You're listening to Gamertag Radio with your hosts, podcaster Hall of Famer Danny Peña, the always opinionated Paris Lily, and from outside of the norm, Peter Toledo. This is Gamertag Radio.
All right, welcome to Gamertag Radio, episode 1291. This is your host, Danny Peña, and just a few minutes ago, I just arrived here to Los Angeles. I was in Las Vegas. I was part of an event called the Video Game and Mental Health and Wellness Summit. That event took place in Las Vegas, and I was there with other people that from the industry. There was an Xbox there. I saw a lot of local gaming companies, esports companies there, Activision Blizzard, great event. And yeah, I spoke there. I was part of a panel, and we talked a lot about like how to get into the industry. We gave a lot of tips and advice for kids on how to, to be part of the industry, if it's from like development side, content creation side, marketing, PR, etc. So it was a great conversation. It was an all ages event, and it was totally free. So I just want to say thanks to the city of Las Vegas for inviting me and making this event happen over there. And I think it was really, really good, man. Very successful event, and I can't wait for to see if they're gonna have more future events like this in the city. So. All right, so we have a couple of things here for this episode. One is we have a roundtable discussion. It's like a review with my wife, Rihanna Manuel Peña, and also Emily Rose. We talked about the new Sea of Thieves Monkey Island DLC that just came out a couple of days ago. We got early access from Xbox. Shout out to them for giving us access. So we talked about our experience overall about the content. I think it's a lot of fun. You guys definitely got to check it out. And this is just part one of more content coming up for the Monkey Island story. So you definitely going to enjoy this review. It was a great roundtable discussion. Also, I interviewed the dev team that worked on OXENFREE 2, a game that just came out. When was it? A couple of weeks, like a week or two ago. All gaming consoles for all platforms: Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 5, Android, iOS, PS4, PC, Mac. And the studio that worked on this, Night School Studio, and published by Netflix Games. And we had a great conversation about OXENFREE 2 Lost Signals. Great conversation. That's going to be only here on Gamertag Radio. I can't wait for you guys to listen to it. And then please let us know your thoughts about this episode. Now, before we continue, I have to mention the poll that we have on Spotify. For those that are listening through the app or any other app, make sure to listen to this episode and go to our weekly poll. And in there, we ask questions to our listeners, like, what, thoughts about certain things that's happening in the industry and everything. So last week, the question I had for the poll was, are you excited about Microsoft acquisition of Activision Blizzard? And we had a good amount of people that actually was part of this poll. 85.7% says yes, 2.9% said no, and 11.4% said don't know. So I'm very, very curious to hear everybody's thoughts about, especially the ones that says no and don't know. Just want to hear why they're not excited. But the majority of people, of course, that voted said yes, they're going to go for this all the way to support this. They're very hyped about it. So that's good to see. Now, I'm going to have another poll. And this one is going to be more about the Sea of Thieves, the Monkey Island game. Are you interested in the new Sea of Thieves content? Go right now while you're listening to this episode and vote yes, no, or maybe. So go right now, and and if you want, also could ask us questions through Spotify or to just email us or call us, and we definitely will put this in a future episode of Gamertag Radio. I would love to have a all episode just strictly fan mode, but it's all up to you, the listeners. So go right now, send us those questions so we can make it happen. Now, we've been very, very busy the past 2 months or so. We've been busy. We haven't really recorded a live episode for a while because of our schedule. He was traveling. Paris right now is traveling too. I've been traveling and doing stuff on the side. I have a lot of things going on, with my life. But we're gonna continue to release content. Most likely next week, we're probably gonna have a live show on Twitch. Most likely Sunday morning. That will be 7:30 a.m. Pacific time. So be on the lookout on Discord. Go there, or just be on the lookout for our Twitch channel. And once we go live, we're gonna let you know, so you could tune in and we interact and watch us talk live, about different topics. Because let me tell you, later this month, actually August and September and on, is just gonna be busy for everyone. We have tons of games coming out. We want to continue the conversation about that, about the games, the reviews, the hands-on impressions, everything. We have tons of stuff coming up, and I'm actually going to a couple of hands-on events that's coming out in the next couple of days. I can't say what it is or where, but just stay tuned. I'm gonna have the content here on GTR. Plus, I have a couple reviews coming up too for the show. So we're gonna be busy. The podcast is still gonna be going on. Tons of content coming up, so stay tuned for that. Now, I know I made an announcement last week that I'm going to be partnering with Brassline Entertainment. They are a gaming studio, so they're working on projects and stuff like that. So this is an all-diverse studio, and the thing that I'm planning to do is I'm going to be helping them getting the word out about the studio. So more details about that in the future. But for now, that's the only thing I will say. I just want to say thank you to everybody that have been sending me messages through social, emails, texts. Everybody has been hitting me up. Thank you for the support. This is going to be something new. I've never done this before with a video game studio. So this is going to be really, really cool. I can't wait. It's going to be very exciting. So thank you, everyone, for sending me messages, man. So, and also be on the lookout. Be on the lookout for my work and everything that's is going to happen in the future. Make sure to follow me on Twitter. Go right now, twitter.com/Godfrey. That's twitter.com/Godfrey. Also, if you're listening to this podcast, also check out my YouTube channel. I've been posting stuff there that's not available in other places. Just search for Danny Peña. That's Danny Peña. Just search, or go to YouTube and put at the Danny Peña, or check the description below, and you could also check out the YouTube channel through there too. So, all right, so we're gonna play the roundtable discussion about Sea of Thieves, and after that, OXENFREE interview. We'll be right back after this.
Send us your feedback or questions. Give us a call at 786-273-7GTR. Email us at fanmail@gamertagradio.com or leave a message on speakpipe.com/gamertagradio.
All right, so we're back here at Gamertag Radio, and again, we have a couple guests. While I'm on, making some moves in the world, you'll find out more about it in the future. But for this segment, we have my beautiful wife. She's always on here, Rihanna Manuel Peña.
Thank you. Excited to be back.
Yeah, and also, and we go way back. Welcome back, Emily Rose, right?
Yes.
There you go.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me back on.
Yeah, we actually got together to play a game that we're going to be talking about here. And we haven't played a game in a long time. Since what? Since the G4 days, X-Blade days, right? Yeah, it's been a while.
Man, I was thinking about that earlier this week. I'm like, that anniversary is going to come up. This October, and it's going to be wild.
Oh, my God. I totally forgot about it. All right. No, it's all good. But shout out to Xbox for giving us early access to the new DLC for Sea of Thieves, The Legend of Monkey Island. Now, for those that don't know, I played this Monkey Island game long, way back in the days. Totally forgot about the story, everything. Emily, I know you're a huge fan of Monkey Island. When was the last time you actually played the game? You used to remember the story and everything like that.
I actually was introduced to this game for the first time and played it for the first time my senior year in college because it was one of the required games for, there was a class I was supposed to take called, it was like a narrative gaming class, and I was really excited to take it. However, I was, and I had, there was all this bunch of homework. We had to play these games. We had to play Telltale's The Walking Dead. We had to play a few others as well. And so that was like super fun homework to do leading up to that class. But the issue was I wrote down the wrong day in my planner. I said Thursday for the class, and the class was on Tuesday. And the professor didn't let me come back. Yeah, I made him, yeah, he was just like, well, you weren't there the first day, so you're permanently out of my class. So I sadly didn't, I know. So I sadly didn't get to play it, or I didn't get to take the class, but I was really thankful because, I got to play the special edition version of Secret of Monkey Island and Monkey Island 2 when they were available on the iPhone. I played it on my iPad back in 2014. Okay. 2015-ish. Yeah. And so that's the one I'm most familiar with, which was like the audio-visual update, and it included the voice acting. But ever since I played those two, I've like loved the series. I love point-and-click adventure games, especially these like early 1990 ones that are just very, very, because the writing had to carry these games, and so they're just so funny and weird.
And for you, Ree, I know you played Sea of Thieves multiple times in the past, right? Yeah. Is this, are you familiar with Monkey Island? Or this is something new to you for the first time, or what?
Yeah, I'm on a different end of the spectrum. I haven't played any of the Monkey Island games, so I did not have the same point of reference for a lot of the callbacks and Easter eggs and stuff, but still had a really great time, which we can get into in a few minutes.
Yeah, definitely. Well, the thing too is that we all got to play Sea of Thieves, and when it first came out back then. I know there was a couple new content expansions that came out for this too, so I was very familiar from that. But we were all sitting at the Xbox showcase that took place around a couple of weeks back, during Summer Game Fest and everything. And I remember being there when they announced the new update, and a lot of people got excited. We're like, okay, you know what? This makes sense for this game, for Sea of Thieves. It's the perfect combination. How was your reaction? For you ladies, when while you were there at the event seeing this announcement? Let's go with Emily, because you got to see this and you're a fan of Monkey Island.
I think the funniest part of this event live was like the Rare logo came up and everyone was like just really hoping for like a Banjo-Kazooie or something, and then all of a sudden it said I believe it said like Lucasfilm Games, and immediately I was like oh. And so, just seeing the trailer, I was like, man, this is a match made in heaven. How have they not done this yet? And I was just so excited, because I haven't played Sea of Thieves in a long time, but I was like, man, I'm coming back to this game for this expansion. Yeah,
and I think Rare did a pretty good job, even for those that have never played Monkey Island, never heard of it. They did a pretty good job with just putting everything together for both. And I think they did something similar to that, that we also got to play. Was it the Pirates game? Pirates of
the Caribbean.
Yeah, that was, when was that? Was like, that was a lot of fun. It was actually the ride that the actual ride from Disneyland and Disney World. But there was like a couple of new things in there, but that was like a very awesome experience. So when I got to see this announcement during the showcase, I was like, man, is it going to be like that? Because that was a lot of fun playing that, right, Ree? What about you?
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed seeing this announcement. Of course, like most showcases, there's a logo and there's like a name drop, and you're like, is it the game of my dreams? Like, usually not. It's usually one that makes a lot more sense business wise. But no, this is really fun to see at that showcase. And again, not being familiar with Monkey Island, I was excited to see a reason to return to Sea of Thieves. So for me, and just in general, I'm not a huge fan of the PvP in that game, simply because I'm not great at it, right? Like, it's very discouraging, like, to go on this grand adventure with all your friends and have this great time, and you're on this island, you find this treasure, and then somebody takes it. Like, I don't enjoy that part of it. Best water in any video game ever, like, great humor. I love the art style. And the ship mechanics are actually a lot of fun. But yeah, there were just certain parts of the PvP that, weren't for me. So when these DLCs get announced, I get excited because it gives me something to play again in this world. And I really do enjoy being in the world of Sea of Thieves. So as you mentioned, Danny, the Pirates DLC, I had a similar experience where I was like, I just loved having a reason to go back. And this was definitely in that same vein.
Yeah, and this game, it's one of those that it's the best when you're playing with friends. Like, I think it's important to have a group of 3, maybe 4. I haven't tried 2 yet, but there's always been 3 or 4 for me. But let's start talking about our experience with Monkey Island. So we start the game, and in the beginning, you're like in this little town. They give you like an introduction about Monkey Island and everything like that. And then from there, you take your boat and you go straight to this location where it's like a green light. And once you go in there, that's when everything changes. But I was watching the video a couple hours ago because I was, just editing. And Emily, looked like you were struggling, Emily, in the beginning. What happened there?
Oh, is this about the sail?
Yes, we were sailing towards the green light. The green light, I remember.
We were sailing towards the green light, and I had made, like, the back sail way too big, and so I'm trying to drive the ship, and I just can't see where I'm going. And so I'm like, I kept calling out to y'all, being like, just tell me where to go. Mm-hmm. And I was not very clear with what sail was giving me a hard time. And so, but no, y'all, I mean, this is another just great reason as to why it's so much more fun and more important to play with other people, like, especially in a game like Sea of Thieves.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's really tough to do, like, everything on that ship alone. We all had to kind of re-go through the tutorial again. And even just, like, sailing and trying to load a cannonball by yourself is a little like, oh, you have to really be on it. But no, that's what was so much fun with sailing, was like, I was being a goober, but like, y'all were also guiding me so perfectly, and so it was great. I loved it. Yeah,
and let's talk about once we arrived to Melee Island, right? So we arrived there, and I had no idea what to do. I was like, where we have to go? So we spread out, and we were going to like different locations. I know, Emily, there was one part where you got excited because you remembered something from the game. I was just wandering around with Ree, trying to figure out like, okay, what's next? Where's this puzzle? What is it that we need to do? But it took us a while to figure things out. And I can't quite remember who was the first person that noticed, like, wait a minute, we have to do this first. Was it you, Rihanna, that noticed that?
Yeah, I think we all kind of discovered things sort of similarly. And to be clear, like, once you sail through that green light, you exit the PvP or open seas area and you go into your own game instance. So from there on, you don't see any other player characters. It's just whoever's in your crew. Mm-hmm. And so the 3 of us sort of started exploring. There's a bar at the beginning of the island where we started going in there. Like, can we pickpocket people? Can we get a drink? Like, what are we allowed to do? Right? You're sort of trying to find the rules and the structure of the space and this challenge. But what we did know is that we were searching for Guybrush Threepwood. Is that right?
Yes, Guybrush Threepwood.
Guybrush Threepwood, which we found out from the opening island that Danny described earlier. And we just kept trying to like talk to people, maybe overhear things, like see if there were like clues in the environment telling us like what we were supposed to do. And the bar eventually sort of like gave us a little bit of guidance as to like, there's these 3 people in a back room and they seem kind of important, and they start dropping mentions of different things you can do to get the audience with, the guy who is now the mayor, I think, of the town, which is this guy Guybrush. So then we're trying to figure out, right, how we get an invitation to go see him because we need to talk to him. And then I think from there we started figuring out all the different pieces that go into winning that invitation. But what I really like about it is that it starts unfolding a lot like an escape room, where you have sort of a general goal, but you don't know how you're supposed to reach it. Mm-hmm. And there's all of these clues everywhere. There's people who you can talk to who maybe give you some. There's different places where you can start seeing what you can pick up, what you can potentially buy from vendors, like doors that are locked that clearly need a key. And you just start figuring out like what it is you need to discover in order to progress, which is really, really great.
Yeah, there was a lot of moments there that we got so excited once we figured out, because we were there for a while, and I don't know if any of y'all got like frustrated, like, okay, what is it we need to do next? But I was okay. I was just enjoying the moment with everything, right? Like I remember we had to like get together, dress up as like also part of the cooking team, right? We'll go back to the bar, go to that area. We have to like I think create a potion. What also cook, right?
A
We
recipe.
had to cook the meat a certain way because we were like, because I think Danny, you wandered into a back alleyway and you saw these dogs needed meat, and then I remember I was like, oh wait, there's meat back at the bar,
Yeah,
and we're like, oh great, we gotta go do it was just like I think that was the most joy was puzzle solving and problem solving as a group.
Yeah.
Because like you said, I think that's such a brilliant analogy, Rihanna, because it very much like reminded me, because that's very much how like these old point and click adventure games were. It was just like go talk to people and literally point and click at everything, see what you can pick up, see what you can interact. I'm going to try and use this key on every single darn door I find, or like how do I use this meat on things. And so yeah, but like I never thought of the translation of like a 2D point and click adventure game would become an escape room when transformed into 3D, if that makes sense. So like getting to explore the 3D version of Monkey Island versus its 2D kind of original form. And then, yeah, doing these kind of point and click adventure moves in a more kind of 3D modern gaming space 100% felt like an escape room. And that's what was so much fun.
and what was the things, Emily, stood out to you that like Easter eggs or anything that it was very familiar to the original game, from when it comes like the puzzles or like just the story? Was there anything like that?
Are we going full spoilers here?
Just
no, I won't spoil.
It's no
anything.
spoiler. It's no spoiler.
Because also too, like we only played the first part, and there's 3 total parts.
Yeah. Yeah. And that comes out, for those that don't know, that eventually is going to come out like later throughout. I don't know if it's like throughout the summer or what, because
I think they said
by phases, right?
once a month, all free DLC starting July 20th.
Okay.
With the first of 3 parts.
Awesome.
Which is really cute because, that's how the original game was broken up. It was 3 parts. But yeah, I think just like that first moment where you see Melee Island and the music kind of cues up was just so magical. Yeah, I ran up to the point lookout where the lookout guard is, because like that's the first moment in the game, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is just so much fun and so cool. I just loved like going through the rooms and seeing the 3D versions of them and like being able to explore them first person. And yeah, I was like really surprised. There's a character in this game or in this DLC that you have to interact with who is from the third Monkey Island game, the 2D animated one, which I didn't think was going to happen. I thought this game was solely based off of Monkey Island 1 and 2. And so to see this character from 3 there, I was like, oh my gosh, this is like just such a fun little love letter to this series that has just had such a wild ride throughout its life. I mean, it just got, there was a game that came out just last year that was the unofficial kind of sequel to the second one from the original creators.
And what was it that for both of you, your favorite puzzle throughout the whole game? Because I have one, but
you go first, Rihanna.
Yeah.
Favorite puzzle. Ooh, that's tough because they're also interconnected. I think my favorite one was trying to figure out how to, I'm trying to say this without spoiling it, like how to make it midnight. I think that was my favorite one.
Oh, okay. That's a
my
good one.
favorite was when you were jumping through the map. And you found a way to get into locked areas.
That was fun.
I did. So I was exploring. I was exploring, and as you know, in Sea of Thieves is one of the few games where you can jump, and I started climbing the walls and made my way into rooftops, and it's not a huge island, so I was able to jump from rooftop to rooftop and actually get past a barrier that is, of course, part of the game and one of your objectives to get past a guard. I just hopped over the gate, but to the game's credit, it didn't let me progress. Nor did it break. I was able to just jump back into the water on the side, off the side of the island, and swim back to the beginning area, and everything was still fine. So, like, kudos to Rare for, A, letting me have fun breaking invisible walls, and B, making sure that it didn't completely crash the entire instance.
Yeah, one of my favorite ones was the drinking part of the game. That's all I will say.
Oh yeah.
That was a lot of fun because I discovered a lot of money because of it. So that was a lot of fun. And the other one, I think the hook,
the shipment.
Yes,
puzzle?
the shipment.
Finding
Yeah,
lost shipment.
Yeah, can't say more than that. But that was a lot of fun.
That was my favorite too. I think because at the end of that puzzle, just having completed it was just like I said, it's that serotonin hit where you're like, oh yeah, we did it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You're like, we're so smart. Look at us figuring everything out.
Yeah. Now, Emily, question: once we got past the gate, was the house very, very familiar?
Not
the one that we went
too
inside.
Much. That for me, the town was much more familiar in Monkey Island.
Okay.
That's just like, I mean, it was really fun. I think my favorite thing was just standing in there and just watching and interacting with Guybrush Threepwood because I'm like, oh yeah, I love this guy.
Yeah.
This goofy pirate man. But yeah, for me it was the town. I just loved that town.
And now I think it was returning voice actors, right, from the original game.
Yes,
That
which
was
is
awesome.
really fun.
Cool. That's really, really cool. For only one character or multiple characters?
I know. I think it was. I believe it was Guybrush and LeChuck.
That's awesome.
But I think there were others too. But I don't want to say with 100% certainty without having done research.
Yeah. Now I know this is a moment in the game. There's some action. Not gonna say what it is exactly, but that was a lot of fun. That part of the game was a lot of fun. Also, I really enjoyed that part. Now, for you both, especially you, Emily, because you're a fan of Monkey Island. What is it you would like to see in the second part of the game?
I'm so glad you asked because I wrote this down, Danny.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Well, because in the trailer for the DLC, which is one of the moments in the trailer that got me really, really excited.
Yeah.
Is you see Stan S. Stanman, who is the fast-talking salesman that appears throughout the series. He's got like that big crazy big crazy pirate hat, and he's wearing like a used car salesman kind of checkered jacket. And he's in the trailer. And so I was so bummed we didn't see him in this first part. But knowing that there's a second part and a third part, I'm like, yes, I am so excited. He is just one of my favorite. He's just such a funny character. I just love it. And I'm so excited to run into him whenever we do.
No, that's good. That's good. Now, Ree, what about you? Is there anything that you would like to see in the future in this DLC?
Yeah, I would like to get maybe even more into some of the mystical elements that are sort of hinted at as you complete the first part, without giving too much away. That's really intriguing to me. I like that there's, magic and absurdity in this world. Like root beer can be a weapon. I enjoy it quite a bit, but I'm looking forward to seeing if like there's, any parts where we can like be magic wielders and, like do spells and things like that. That's always been really fun, and a really fun aspect of Sea of Thieves is the sort of supernatural for me. So that's what I hope to see. But honestly, I'll be happy with anything. Like I really just love the tone, the humor is spot on. There's laugh out loud funny moments like constantly. And yeah, whatever they got for me, I trust them. They're going to knock it out of the park.
Yeah, one of our favorite moments was Ree. We were all excited that we completely solved the puzzle and we're going straight to Guy's house, right? And she just jumped to the water. I don't know what happened there. And we were like, wait, what? What happened, Ree? So I think you got too excited there in that moment.
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah. Now, the things that I would like to see in this game for the second part and future content is maybe other parts of the island. I would like to check out if there's anything else on the other side. Maybe also, Emily, the part when you climb on top of the mountain, is there anything else that we can discover there later in the game? And because I'm a fan of Sea of Thieves, are we gonna go out to the ocean? Is there other puzzles that's not only in the island but maybe outside of the island? That I think that will be really cool. Similar to when you play Sea of Thieves, we work together, we check out the map, we go to like a different location to discover something.
I would love to. I think I'm gonna tack on to that. I really want there to be a part. I'm hoping there's a part where you get to actually like do a sea battle against LeChuck. with
Ooh.
Guybrush and Elaine, or if not, you're just on a boat with Guybrush and Elaine, and you just get to hang out with them. I think those are like, I want to see them on a boat.
Yeah, and I'm
I will
ready.
say we
for
do
part two.
know from recent Xbox Wire article by Joe Scrubbles. There's an interview with creative director Mike Chapman, and he did mention that you will get to go to Monkey Island eventually.
Woohoo!
So we know that's on the horizon.
So people don't get confused. Melee Island, Monkey Island, two different places.
Yes.
Okay.
Melee Island is like your home, kind of your hub. That's where Elaine is governor, and now it's where Guybrush is governor.
Mhm.
And then Monkey Island is kind of where LeChuck likes to hang out.
You think how creepy is going to be that area when we go there?
I'm excited.
Is it that creepy? I don't remember because I never played the original.
There's a spooky. It's not like creepy, but I want to see, just because of how well they translated the Melee Island into 3D and explorable space.
Mhm.
I really am excited to see how they translate Monkey Island into an explorable space.
Oh snap! So we're gonna do this once Chapter 2 comes out. I hope we could play together to figure it out.
Yes.
Because I had a blast playing with y'all. It was.
Oh my gosh, that was so fun. We were really good at it too. Like we got a little
nailed
stuck a
it.
couple times, but we finished it.
Yeah, I think
No help.
it took us like a little bit of 2 hours, or a little bit over 2 hours.
A little
I
over
think.
2 hours.
Yeah. Because I recorded the whole thing, and I still have the full video. It was awesome. Really, really fun.
Well, yeah, the clips from that are hilarious.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I just want to say once again, thank you to Microsoft, the Xbox team, for sending us the content early. That was a lot of fun. Can't wait to play future content of this. And Emily, thank you for joining us too. That was a lot of fun. Playing.
Oh my
with
gosh, yes, thank you for having me.
Yeah, have we ever played together with Ree, you and I? Like, I don't remember if we did. Like,
I don't know.
I don't know.
I know we played a lot of like Ubisoft games and stuff like that for us to review, but I think this was the first time all of us together playing.
Yeah, this might have been.
Yeah, cool. And Ree, thank you as always for joining and and for
Of
jumping
course.
in the water because you were celebrating. That was a lot of fun. I hope you
Yeah,
did
I was
it again.
celebrating. I totally didn't trip and fall off the side.
It's so good. All right, one, but thank you for listening. Until next time.
You're listening to Gamertag Radio.
All right, this episode of Gamertag Radio is sponsored by porkbun.com. Porkbun is a refreshingly different domain name register that's different from other ones like GoDaddy or Namecheap. They've got the lowest prices on hundreds of different domain extensions so you could create your own website, blog, or whatever you want to show off what you do. They got everything from the usual .com domains to awesome ones for gaming and entertainment like .games, .stream, and .gg. Every domain name at Porkbun comes with tons of freebies like SSL certificates, Whois privacy, DNS, and URL forwarding. Because why pay for things that should be free, right? They're also got free trials for their link in bio tool that makes it easy to keep links to your platforms in one place, plus web and email hosting trials. If you're someone that loves new tech, check out their new AI generated search tool using ChatGPT that is changing how people search for domain names. All these incredible features and tools are backed by incredible support 365 days a year and more 5 stars reviews on Trustpilot from real customers than anyone else. Porkbun website is simple and easy to navigate. You can manage everything about your domain from one place, and they don't upsells like those other places do, so you're not being pressured to pay for products that you will never use. Gamertag Radio listeners, this is your opportunity to take advantage of this deal. You can get $1 off for your next domain name registration with code GAMERTAG by clicking the link in the description below or go to porkbun.com/gamertag. That's $1 off your next domain registration at porkbun.com/gamertag using code GAMERTAG. we want to thank Pork Bun for sponsoring this episode of Gamertag Radio.
This is Gamertag Radio. Voicemail at 786-2737-GTR.
Yeah, I'm Brian Cannon. I'm the lead developer at Night School Studio and the game director on OXENFREE 2. I've been at Night School since day one when we started in 2014 and started as the programmer and made my way up to the game director. And now the game's out. So
Congrats. Congrats. Yeah, let me tell you, OXENFREE 2 is my first time playing OXENFREE. So
Cool.
I was playing it with my wife when before for us to review and everything, and we really enjoyed the game. It was so much fun. Even if this is like our first time playing it, So, was that something that you guys thought about, like working on this game, where for the newcomers that are playing this and getting to know the story, but also at the same time you want to also satisfy like the fans that play the first one. So, how was that? Working on those two for you guys, was it challenging?
Yeah, that's why we intentionally wanted to go with a new character this time around, because we wanted to start in a place where any new player can just jump in and understand what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
And we, do a little recap of the first game early on in OXENFREE 2. But we also wanted to leave plenty in there for the fans of the first game. And, hopefully that the context comes across well for people who didn't play the first OXENFREE, but I think it's playable both ways. Two first or one first, but there are definitely a lot of little nuggets and little ways the world expands from the first one.
Yeah, and how similar is the first and both games? Like, how similar is it? Like the same thing where there's radio involved, or this is something new in part 2?
Yeah, in part 2 we added the walkie-talkie. The walkie-talkie is a way to talk to characters that are off screen and deepen relationships in a more player-driven way, rather than just us giving you the next beat of the story. You can kind of choose when and where to reach out to characters, see if they can give you a hint about something or give you a little more context about the world, or sometimes tell you more about something in their lives that's happening that is interesting in its own right. And sometimes that can affect the mainline story as well.
Yeah. So I noticed that when I was playing with my wife, she was playing. We were both playing at the same time, and I noticed that we both have like different experiences with with the story. Like there was stuff that I found out that she totally missed, and there was stuff that she found out, and we were like getting together and just talking about that. So, is that something where every time you play the game, based on your choices, the things that you discover, that changes a lot within the game?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's something that we do kind of as a studio. That's kind of been our brand, is making games where you walk and talk, which doesn't sound very exciting, but it's you have control over the player or the player character the entire time as you're choosing these dialogue options, and what you say to people and what you do in different ways affects the outcome of the game. And we want to lean even more into player agency in the second one by giving players more options as to how they approach that. And it also makes the game very replayable. The fact that you and your wife found like different things in the game, that's exactly what we're going for. We want people to keep exploring not just a space, but a possibility space. And in the case of OXENFREE, even the radio wave space, right? And finding different things that can it makes the world feel really big when you have this frequency range, and it even depends on where you're standing in the world to find different radio stations.
Yeah, I noticed there were some certain parts where the radio gets really staticky, but then it changes based on like the location and stuff. So that was really cool seeing that.
Cool.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about the main characters in the game for those that you never had the opportunity to play this game.
Yeah, so you play as Riley. Riley is a 30-something-year-old environmental researcher. She, has kind of a storied past and is going through some things that a lot of 30-something-year-olds go through, that, I won't spoil. But in general, she, has a difficult relationship with her father. She has, kind of hit the reset button on her life. And she's returning to Kamina, which is her hometown. Kamina is for fans of the first one, it's where the main characters from the first one grew up. So we're exploring kind of the other side of Edwards Island, that we never quite see in the first game, but reference heavily. And Riley, and ends up meeting Jacob, who's kind of your work partner.
Mm-hmm.
He's also someone that Riley met back in high school, and like dated his friend, Jacob dated Riley's friend at some point, and things like that. But Jacob is kind of in a similar boat, but in very different ways. And the way they interact and talk about their lives is one of the big, like, not selling points of the game, but when you start digging and playing through more of the story, that's, I think, what's really rewarding and what players can take away from the experience.
What is your play style in this game? Are you more like a person where you're open to talk, or you're more of like quiet, not saying much?
I mean, personally, yeah, I talk a lot.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, but I one of the big things we wanted that was pretty unique at the time in OXENFREE 1, and it carried through all of our games, is the opportunity to be silent as an option, like a real option, rather than a oh, you ran out of time, you lose, you got the bad outcome. So sometimes being silent's good. Sometimes you have to listen, and that player verb of like listen is kind of what we're going for. And I think there are ways in the game you're rewarded for listening to characters in both games. So we try to build in, player choice, but we really like when the player choice is asymmetrical. And it's not just A, B, or C. It's A, B, or C, silent. Maybe you click another interactable. Maybe, in OXENFREE 1, you have an opportunity to slap one of the other characters in a game, or you can tell the characters that you're not playing anymore. That feels very organic, and it feels like you're part of the experience.
And what was the things that you and the team learned from like working on the first game compared to like the second game?
It's a good question. A lot of it was just about how. I think the biggest question mark for us on the first game was, are players going to like this? When we were playing early versions of the game, we didn't have any VO, we didn't have any animations yet, and we would play through these scenes, and we were just like, oh no, this game is so boring. And so I think we once we got the VO in and the animations in, we're like, okay, I think this has legs. When we gave it to players, we learned a lot about what the players gravitated towards. We learned a lot about what's scary to players. We didn't think the game was scary at all. We were like, it's kind of creepy. It's like mildly frightening. But there were some playtesters who just put the controller down. They're like, I can't play anymore. I'm out of here. And that carried through to the audience. And I think a lot of people ate it up and loved that. And then we also just learned a lot about, obviously on the technical side, just like how to build these games, how to manage such a large possibility space of these branching dialogue trees and things like that just kind of helped us help us iterate for the second iteration, second game.
Yeah. See, when I was playing this game, it reminded me a lot of like 80s Stranger Things, like that type of vibe with the music, just the environment overall. So that's the part where I really enjoyed. Like it wasn't scary for me because I love horror games, right? But it was one of those like, oh man, something is about to go down. Like the whole time I was playing, and also I was always curious listening to the radio too, like because I remember there was one part of the game. This is not a spoiler or anything yet, but I know based on me listening to the radio station now, I'm starting having conversations with people that are working or there at the radio station, giving them like advice and stuff like that. So that's it's cool, like how much stuff you could do in this game besides just working on the main game and stuff. So it was that something that you guys wanted to make sure to have that available in the game, to just have so many other things besides just the story?
Absolutely. The big innovation for us was let's worry less really about how branchy the narrative is, and instead give players opportunities to reach into the story. And I think that's the side quest you're mentioning, the Maria interaction. That is I think exemplary of that, because you interact with her on the radio, you interact with her on the walkie-talkie, and usually when you have a quest like that in a game, you have a place to go, or a place to be, and you have a quest log, in the upper right of the screen. We didn't have any of that, so we wanted it to feel like it's an organic interaction with a real character. So that was definitely very intentional, on the radio, and just finding little things putting in there little things the player can find. And further, I think that one thing it lends itself well to is scaling the amount of interaction that a player wants to have. A player can just turn on the radio, find something interesting, and be like, "Oh, that's cool." But the fans, the people who are really excited to find every single little detail about the game, they will catalog like the progression of this baseball game that's happening over the course of the night. And because there is a progression to it, if you listen to the radio station each hour of the night, it just goes on and the weird stuff starts happening, and you wouldn't notice that unless you maybe play it through again and like really pay attention to these things. So there's like kind of a spectrum of investment that a player can spend on the game with the radio and walkie.
Yeah, I didn't even know about the baseball game. Like, I thought it was just something like it's just there, but I didn't know it was also where you gotta listen to it, and there's other stuff in there that happens. That's pretty cool. Like, how much audio content you guys have in there?
Oh man, overall? A lot. The game has a total of, I want to say, around 20,000 dialogue lines.
Wow.
Just dialogue. Wow. And on top of that, it has a lot of music and a lot of radio content. Hours probably of radio content. I haven't added it all up.
Yeah,
it's a lot.
That's impressive. That's impressive. And how long you guys been worked on this game, on part 2?
It was about a 3-year project. It's definitely the longest we've ever done. It's the biggest game we've ever made. And with the pandemic, it was we actually started right around the time the pandemic started, so we had to get used to working remotely and all that. But we made it happen, and I think the game is the work we put into it shows, and I'm super proud of that.
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely tell that the budget for this was really, really good, man. Like, just the dialogue, just the amount of content that's available there for a game like that, it's pretty impressive, man. Really, really impressive, man.
Thank you.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
Yeah, and how's it been for you guys? Reading the reactions from like the fans, because I remember just before they came out, everybody was just talking about it. There was teasers online, from social media. It was really exciting seeing that, knowing much about the game, because I got it early, but reading online, it was amazing, I think, for me from the outside.
Yeah, for us, it's been a joy. I mean, it's only been a week that the game's been out, but watching people's reactions, watching people, day one play the game through 3 times, and more recently, like people reaching out to us to say like, hey, like I'm going through a lot of the same things these characters are going through. This really meant a lot to me, and that's why I do what I do. That's why a lot of us do what we do, is for that kind of impact, that kind of resonance with an audience. So it's been really rewarding. A lot of positive feedback, a lot of just good vibes from the fan base, and I hope a lot more people play it.
No, that's really good, really good. And I know it's only been a week, but is there something else after this? Like, that's it? You got taking a break? Are we going to see any new content, like anything like that for the game, or not really?
Yeah, I mean, we we'll all be taking some vacation time.
You're definitely a vacation. Definitely a vacation.
We try to encourage the team to stay healthy and take some time off between projects. But yeah, we'll be right on figuring out what's next. Nothing to announce yet, but I'm excited. I'm excited for what the future of Night School is. I'm excited to continue iterating on the what we've already built and just showing people great new stories and great new ways to interact with those stories.
Yeah, and as a developer, like, how's it been working with Netflix? Now that they're getting to gaming a lot more than before.
Yeah, I mean, for us, for me, and for a lot of the team, it's we still are doing what we're doing. We're making interesting narrative games with interesting mechanics, and that's really what we're continuing to focus on. And the biggest boost we got was just like growing the team, hiring more people. For a long time, it was like 2 programmers, and now we have a team of 9. So we're gonna. I'm excited for the future of Night School because we're gonna be able to do even more than we've done in the past, and really blow people's minds with future games. I'm really excited.
No, I just want to say, man, someone that just played the second one for the first time like that is something where it really want to make me play the first game. We'll go back.
Awesome, yeah.
And I'm excited for the future. I'm excited to see what you guys have planned. Future games and stuff like that. I became a fan now. So
awesome. Yeah. Well, I hope you enjoy the first one too. Yeah, and I'd be interested to hear what that experience is kind of going the other way. That's we have theorized that's a really good way to play the game. I think it is. But I'm interested to see what as you play as someone plays the first game after playing the second one, what are the big epiphany moments that happen? So
okay,
yeah,
I'll definitely I'll email Monica.
Great.
I'll let her know.
That's perfect.
For sure, man. No, but I just want to say thank you for being on the podcast, and like I said, I can't wait for people to also try this game out, and excited for the future, man, for you guys. Congrats.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity. It was great talking.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
This is Gamertag Radio.
All right, so that's it for this episode of Gamertag Radio. Everyone, thank you so much for listening, for supporting, for spreading the word about our content. I'm glad to see that everybody has been hype about everything that's going on with gaming, man. So we're going to be back next week. I'm actually going to be recording an episode with Pete next week, so stay tuned for that. That's going to be a very, very cool episode. And that's it. Until next time, everyone, thank you for the support. Peace.
Thanks for listening to Gamertag Radio. Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.